What's up, guys? Sonny the Badger here from the Facebook page, The Badgers and the Biker Lifestyle, and of course the YouTube channel, The Badgers. So welcome back to my channel. It's another episode of Fatboy Friday, where every Friday we talk about fat boys, since I have a plethora of them. So one of the big things I hear a lot from people is, why don't you buy a bagger? Because we do tour on our fat boys. The silver bike's got about 117,000 miles on it. Mama Badger's bike's got 60-some thousand miles on it. So we travel cross country on our Harley Davidson Fat Boys all the time. So in order to do that, they're not exactly set up from the factory to be a touring bike. So this video is my top 5 things to change on your Fat Boy to make it ready to go cross country. Let's get into it. Alright guys, before we get started with the video, if you love motorcycles as much as I love motorcycles, then hit that subscribe button. You can ring the bell icon. You'll be notified every time we upload a new video. And leave us your comments, because we love to read them and of course respond to them. So let's get into the video. Alright guys, these are in no particular order. And the stuff that I use on my bike will be linked in the description below, should you be interested in getting them for your bike. So we're going to get started at the front of the bike. So the very first thing that you need to change on your Fat Boy to make it a touring bike is the headlight. I have the headlight and I have the 2 auxiliary lights on my silver bike, and they're all LED because unfortunately that one does not cut it. We try not to ride a whole lot at night during the dark, but honestly, when we get out and we get to riding, we end up riding quite a bit in the dark, and I just don't think we could do it without the LED lights. So that is one thing you definitely want to replace on your bike, is those stock headlights. And you might even want to add the auxiliary lights as well, just to get your entire road all lit up, because we also ride back roads and you just never know what you're going to run into. So that would be my number 1 thing. All right, guys, number 2. Starting at the front of the bike, like I said, you need to put a windshield on your bike. Now look guys, this isn't a have to, but if you are riding weeks on end every day on the bike, you will be a lot less wore out, because if there's no windshield taking all of that wind, then that means your body is taking all the wind, all the rain, all the sand, all the rocks, everything that's flying at you. So you will be definitely a lot less fatigued if you put a windshield on, a lot more protected, because I know there are sometimes that we get to the hotel at night and you can't even see out of the windshield because of all the bugs. Well, if you don't have a windshield, guess where all those bugs are? Yeah, they're all over you. So that is another one that I really suggest. Now, we bought a cheap windshield a couple of years ago, and guys, do not cheap out on the windshield. I have a video about the cheap windshield and then what we replaced it with, which was an F4 custom. There's a link up here. Just click that link, or there'll be a link in the description of the video where you can go watch that video. I think it was titled something like "Don't Buy No Cheap Windshield." But anyway, you can see what we found out about a cheap windshield and why you want to buy a quality windshield. All right, guys, number 3. The third thing that I recommend adding to your bike to make it a better touring bike would be highway pegs. Now, some people run crash bars and then they mount their highway pegs to their crash bars. Me personally, I'm not a crash bar style of guy. I just don't like the look of it. So I have crash bars that actually mount to my frame. And you can put them up high on the frame, you can put them down low on the frame. As you'll see in my video here, I have mine low and actually ran behind my brake pedal and my shifter pedal, so I can go right off of my floorboards and put my feet out. But one of the big advantages to having those highway pegs is if you are out riding hundreds of miles a day, your back, your butt, your body will thank you if you can take and move your legs around as you're riding. I actually have passenger foot pegs as well on my bike, and I will take and put my feet back on them also. So just something to where I get my knees and my legs and my hips all in a different position as I'm riding, and that makes my day a lot better. So I highly recommend that. The ones I've got on my bike, as I said below, there's a link below in the description of this video. Number 4, guys. So this one's a pretty important one as well. A seat. So the Harley Davidson seats from the factory usually are not that comfortable. So the red bike, that's probably the worst seat that I've ever seen in the history of seats from the factory. It's a horrible seat. It looks great, but it is not comfortable at all. I was pretty lucky. My Fatboy came with the seat already replaced. Mama Badgers, we actually got a Corbin seat for her with a backrest. But guys, the seat, you're gonna spend hours and hours and hours and hours on it. So I've always just used the one that my bike came with. But on top of that, I actually, before this last trip, which was about 13,000 miles, I bought a gel pad off of Amazon, made in the USA, so you can't go wrong there. And I used it. And honestly, guys, I really liked it. One of the biggest things that I noticed was I could actually feel the air blowing through the crack. You know where the crack is. Anyway, I could literally feel the air blowing underneath me, which kept me cooler. Also the gel, set me up off the seat a little bit and just gave me a little added extra comfort. So I put that link in here as well. That really isn't one of the top 5 things, it's the seat. But that's a way that maybe you can make your current seats a little more comfortable. So those seats can be pretty expensive. You're talking $600-700 to get you a really good seat. I think the pad's like $60. So that might be something to start with anyway. All right, guys. So we've covered your eyesight. We've covered your body. We have covered your legs. We've covered your butt. So now we're going to cover all your clothes. So guys, on my bike, I just put saddlebags on it. But for the past 5 years, I have not ran saddlebags. If you're interested in maybe putting saddlebags on your bike, there'll be a link up here and in the description of where I put those saddlebags on my bike. But anyway, before that, I literally just used a bag. Looks like this. All right, guys, so for the 100,000 miles that I put on that silver bike, I have used this bag here. Yeah, it's definitely got to go into retirement because it's pretty worn out. But just a zip up bag, all my clothes went in there and it's strapped to my sissy bar on the back. So what you need is you need a sissy bar because you can strap a bag to the front of it and to the back of it. So basically your passenger seat can also be a bag or a backpack or whatever you need to haul along with this bag. And then the beauty of this bag is it just unstraps at night. Just unvelcro it, pull it off, carry it into the hotel or wherever you're staying. So that made things really easy getting on and off the bike. Next morning, everything's packed in your bag, go out to the bike, strap it on, and you're rocking. So that would be the number 5 thing, is you gotta have a way to carry all of your stuff on the trip. And a good piece of luggage like this can work wonders. So get you a good one. Try to find as waterproof as possible. Most of them have a cover that goes over them. So one with an extra cover is a definite bonus. Guys, they will wear out. This one's wore out on me. I got to get a new one. The zippers aren't zipping as well. But this bike has been through rain and cold and sun. And I mean, you name it. It's been through all the elements through many, many different states. And it's held up really well. But guys, when you're out traveling, you're going to want some good luggage. Like I said, I just put saddlebags on there. I'll still carry a piece of luggage like this. The saddlebags are going to be for my everydays, my rain gear, my tools, stuff like that. I'm still going to use a bag like this that I pull off the bike every night that has all my clothing and everything in it. So that would be my number 5 suggestion, is get you some really good luggage. So when you're traveling, everything that you're traveling with is protected, and it's easy to take in and out because you do that on the daily basis. All right, guys, there are so many other things, just little things that you can do to your bike to tweak it and make it a better touring bike. I'm going to do another video probably with another 5 or 10 things on it that you can do to your bike just to make it, you know, a more functioning touring bike. I love my Harley Davidson Fatboy. There is no other bike I would rather ride. It's great because it's not as heavy as all those touring bikes. And honestly, when you ride cross country and you ride back roads and stuff, you just never know where you're going to end up. So it's nice to have that lighter, more maneuverable bike. It's plenty capable going down the highway and the back roads. So like I said, I'm just a huge proponent of the Harley Davidson Fatboy. It is by far my favorite bike. And guys, it'll tour just like all the other bikes will do. So if you're thinking about doing some long distance traveling, but you're debating on whether to go get you a bagger or keep your Fatboy, you know what I'm going to say. Keep your Fatboy. It works fantastic as a touring bike. I can't say enough good things about it. All right, guys, remember, every Friday, there's going to be a new video that has something to do with these Fatboys back here. So stay tuned. Join us next week. And remember, guys, it's not about the destination. It's all about the ride. See you next week.